G'day everyone, Warwick Nicholson from Not the Footy Show here, and we have Rugby League Trivia coming at you. It's no football, so let's have a go at some Rugby League Trivia. Are you ready? Okay, there's 15 questions. The points per question vary. You've got a 30-second countdown clock that'll go up there, and it'll count down till 0. If you want to go ahead, double tap on your screen. If you're on mobile, get a pen and paper ready and test your mind. Try not to be on Rugby League Project the whole time, as great as a website as it is. Just pause the video if you need more time on each question. Tally your scores. Answers will be after the questions. And take a photo of your piece of paper if you want to show off how you went. And then send us to on Twitter and or Facebook. It's facebook.com/NRL podcast and at NRL tweet. Let's go. Question 1. From 1982 to 1994, under the top 5 final system, name the 3 sides to win the New South Wales Rugby League minor premiership, but then lose both their semi-finals to miss the grand final. All these questions will be from 1982 onwards, just to be aware. So the 3 sides that won the minor premiership, but then didn't make the grand final. Question 2. Name the Brisbane winger who was caught out by Michael Morgan's flick pass to Kyle Feldt in the 2015 NRL Grand Final. He stayed in his wing. Would Feldt have scored? You probably think not, but Morgan, bit of magic, creates the opportunity, and Feldt goes across. Question 3. Name 4 of the 6 New Zealand home grounds/cities used by the Auckland Warriors since 1995. Now you should get at least one of these, and there is a bit of a trick question in that as well. You can score 3 points if you get all 6. Suncorp Stadium for Magic Round and Seabus Super Stadium for Round 2 2020 do not count. So I need 4 of the 6 New Zealand home grounds and cities used by the Warriors since 1995. Question 4. Who coached the Sydney Roosters before Trent Robinson? Who coached the Sydney Roosters before Trent Robinson? Give you a clue. He took them to a grand final in 2010. Question 5. Can you therefore name the 6 coaches that the Sydney Roosters have had since Phil Gould resigned at the end of 1999? Now you should get one. It's pretty obvious because I just mentioned his name before. You name the other 5, and that would also include question 4. So you should have 1 point here if you've got question 4. The 6 coaches the Roosters have had since Phil Gould. Question 6, an origin question. Who scored the series-winning try in the 2014 Origin Series? There was only 1 try in the game. Game 2, 2014. Who scored the series-winning try for New South Wales? There's another clue. In the 2014 Origin Series. Question 7. Half a point for the nickname, 1 point for the full name. What was the full team name of the first incarnation of a Gold Coast team across the 1988 and 89 seasons? So they entered the premiership for the first time in 1988 with Newcastle and Brisbane. What was their full name? It did change a lot during the course of their existence. But I need the full team name. So location into nickname. Question number 8. Who was the first Newcastle Knights player to play Test football for Australia in 1990? So it was a Kangaroo tour, made the squad, did make his debut in that series. The first Knights player to play Test football for Australia. Question 9. Get a point per player here. Who are the 2 players picked to be the face of the NRL's marketing campaign for the 2009 season? Now, it didn't go tremendously well. But who were the two players? And they appeared in the commercial. They had two young kids play, and then they morphed into these two guys. 1 point per player. Question 10. You get a point per team. So it's a 5-point question, plus a bonus. Name 5 teams who have played in at least 3 grand finals held at the Sydney Football Stadium. And the clue I'll give you is that the Sydney Football Stadium first started hosting grand finals in 1988, and the last one was in 1998. You get a bonus point if you can list them in order of total appearances. Question 11. Name Parramatta's 4 Dally M Rookies of the Year since 1982. Yes, the bloke in the photo is their first one. Can you name him? I need his full name. Give you a clue, they were brothers. I need the right brother. And 3 others. There's an interesting tidbit about the guy who won the second one. He shouldn't have won it. He was not eligible, but they gave it to him anyway. Question 12, it's Who Am I time. I debuted in 1995 with a brand new club. Then I moved to Sydney, and then I finished my career at a team that also arrived in 1995. I played 5/8 and lock for the majority of my career, but debuted as a centre, also playing wing and fullback in my first 2 seasons. Played 4 Origins for Queensland, and I played in 2 grand finals and scored a try in my last one. Who am I? Question 13. In 1996, the Sydney Bulldogs lost 5 big-name players to ARL-aligned teams after most of the club had signed with the Super League. 4 went to the Parramatta Eels and 1 went to the North Sydney Bears. Name them. These signings pretty much revolutionised Parramatta after they were going nowhere in the early 90s, after the Sterling and Kenny eras. Who were the players? And North Sydney also picked up 1. Question 14. Who started at hooker for both South Sydney and Canterbury Bankstown in the 2014 NRL Grand Final? You get a point each here. I need both players. Player that started at hooker for South Sydney and the player that started at hooker for Canterbury Bankstown. Question 15. Get 1 point per player. So you want to zoom in here or pause it. Name these 5 players from yesteryear appearing on their footy cards. You can run them down. When I give the answers, it'll be left to right, so it'll kind of go diagonal. Top left to bottom left, middle, bottom right, top right. Name these 5 players, and you are done. So there you go, 15 questions. The answers start in about 10 seconds time. Pause if you need more time on the questions beforehand, but don't go any further forward, otherwise you'll see the answers. Answer for question 1. The 3 sides to win the minor premiership and then lose both games were the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks in 88, South Sydney Rabbitohs in 89 and the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs in 1993. Who was the winger that got caught out? It was Corey Oates. He had scored an amazing try earlier in the match, but if he stayed in his wing, yeah. The 4 of the 6 home grounds. Well, you've got Auckland, Mount Smart. You've also got Auckland Eden Park, Lancaster Park in Christchurch in 97, Westpac Stadium in 2014. Then the 2 hard ones, Yarra Stadium in New Plymouth and Palmerston North Showgrounds in 2017. Who coached the Sydney Roosters before Trent Robinson? It was Brian Smith. He took them to a grand final in 2010. Now the 6 coaches since Phil Gould. You've got Graham Murray, Ricky Stewart, Chris Anderson, Brad Fittler, Brian Smith and Trent Robinson. So you really should get close to 6 points here, I reckon. Who scored the match-winning try? It was Trent Hodkinson. It's game 2 at ANZ Stadium. Sold him a dummy, went through. Happy days if you're a Blue. Very happy days. We had one for 8 years. So the full team name for the Gold Coast team that entered the New South Wales Rugby League in 1988 was the Gold Coast Tweed Giants. I need Tweed and Giants. Gold Coast Giants, I can get you half a point. Who was the first Newcastle Knights player? It was Mark Sargent in 1990. He went on the Kangaroo Tour and he debuted in the third test, which Australia won to reclaim the Ashes. So the two players the NRL chose, it was Greg Inglis and Brett Stewart. Stewart had an incident shortly thereafter being in the ad. Fun fact though, Alex Johnson was the featured youngster for Greg Inglis. This is a tough question, you might have to take a pause and write them down. Canterbury, Canberra both with 4, Brisbane, St George and Manly Warringah with 3 each. No Penrith. 4 Dally M Rookies of the Year for Parramatta since 82. David Lydiard in 1983, Michael Vella in 1999, Tim Smith in 2005 and Jared Hayne in 2006. Michael Vella actually wasn't a rookie in 1991 when he won. He'd played 8 games in 98. He should not have won the award, but they gave it to him anyway. Be very fascinated to hear from many experts about why he got that award. The Who Am I question? That's him in the photo. It's Travis Norton. He played for the Crushers in 95, then he went to the Bulldogs, and then he finished up at the Cowboys. Played in 2 grand finals, 98 and 2005. The 4 players that went to Parramatta were Jason Smith, Jim Dimmick, Jared McCracken and Dean Pay, and Brett Dallas went to the North Sydney Bears. What a coup for the Eels. Two hookers that started for South Sydney and Canterbury. It was Happy Coruscant for Souths and Moses Mbai for the Bulldogs. And finally, if you've zoomed in, you've done well. It's Cherry Mesher for West, Nitro Okasini for Auckland, Chris Lawler for Parramatta, Glenn Nissen for Canterbury and Darren Fritz for Illawarra. How'd you go? 42 is the maximum score possible. I haven't worked out what a good score is until I see some people's scores, but post your score below. Tell us on social media, the links are right there. Or just challenge amongst your friends and family. Well, thanks very much for your company. I've been Warwick Nicholson from The Footy Show. You can catch our podcast with Rob Cox and myself most weeks on iTunes, Spotify and here on YouTube. And we'd love to hear your feedback on the trivia. They're coming from my crazy mind of ideas when it comes to rugby league. So hopefully the questions have tested you, and we'll have another edition of Rugby League Trivia soon here on Not the Footy Show. Hope you enjoyed it.